making every of your hours spent awake to be as sweet as your dreams, working day and night, combating extremism, and showing you that there is a friend that sticks closer. So let your words mount up wings, two wings to fly, time or freedom. Now you can talk. Is here. Nigeria Police Radio 99.1 FM.
All right, thank you for staying with us here. It's Radio 99.1 FM Abuja. Good morning and welcome back to the Horizon. This is your platform for direct conversation and clarity from the Nigeria Police Force. We're here again on our mission to bridge the gap by linking up with police commands across the nation, airing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. This is where you hear from the officers tasked with your security. Today, we take our conversation to a state at the very heart of the battle against insurgency, Borno State. 16 years, the people and security forces of Borno immense challenges, yet life and the work of securing it continued with resilience. A lot of people, when you talk about Borno State, the first thing that comes to their mind is insurgency, bomb blast, and the rest. My name is Ali Udoma, and we're joined by the command's official spokesperson, ASP Nahun Daso Kenneth, who will be taking us through the activities of the Nigeria Police Force in Borno State and also Security General in Borno. Good morning, ASP Nahun Daso Kenneth, and thank you for joining us on the Horizon.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me here.
All right, ASP Daso, we know the security dynamics in Borno are quite unique. Before we delve into specifics, how would you characterize the current operational tempo and primary focus of the police command in your state?
Once again, we know Borno State, just like you mentioned in your introduction, is a state that has this security nature, like due to many devastating incidents that happened in the previous year. Effort and security is an institution centered on positioning the security. I would say we have spent the efforts, and these efforts are not only being recorded by the police force alone. The joint security efforts in collaboration with the military and other security agencies. These efforts are sustained the society which have been in this previous years in so many journey over a decade ago. We didn't enjoy this particular peace. We were left and so many other devastating incidents. But I would say celebratedly that today we are having a version of peace in Borno State, and we are keeping the fight to sustain this tempo in our mandate.
All right, thank you for giving us that and also background to build on the conversation. Meanwhile, our listener, remember this is your program. By that I mean it is interactive in nature. Therefore, as we progress on the show, we will be opening the phone lines where you can share your questions or comment for the Police Public Relations of Borno State Police Command via call, WhatsApp, or SMS. Meanwhile, we're also streaming live on social media. On Facebook, you have two watchers via the Nigeria Police Radio official Facebook handle. The tag is Nigeria Police Radio 99.1 FM. And again, you can watch us on the Nigeria Police Force official Facebook handle, Nigeria Police Force. You can follow the conversation there. You can drop your comments, contributions, and suggestions. And if you have questions, you can also drop them on the social media page. We will take your questions and comments from there. On X, you can watch us live. Again, join the conversation on Police NG. That is on X, formerly Twitter. Thank you very much. I anticipate to hear from my listener and also viewers. All right, let's go back to some of the issues in your hand, ASP Nahum Kenneth. And for the purpose of this conversation, I will be revisiting some of your press releases. I make reference to them. You give us clarity. And if there are questions, my callers and listeners as well, we would forward them to you and you take them right away. Your 25 scorecard shows a very impressive result with over 2,600 arrests, more than 1,000 convictions, and significant recoveries of weapons and drugs. What would you attribute as the single most important factor behind these results? Was it improved intelligence, collaboration, anything else entirely I didn't mention?
First of all, most of the successes in which we recorded in the previous year's scorecard 2025, which highlighted so many numerous breakthroughs, achievements, recoveries, and also prevention of crimes and criminalities in Borno State. This solely by our effort alone was due to the sustained the leader of police, CP Abdulmajid PSC. We drafted out an operational model to state that in the year 2025 we started on a good note, which led to the successes that we've recovered. So part of our key performance is us firstly we did with other security agencies. Number two is the community-centered policing that it reach on gathering intelligence community members, which has helped us in gaining so many of these recoveries, which include stolen vehicles, the handsets that we smashed away, and so many other things. And one other thing that also helped us in that is the training and retraining program, especially for the community members and police officers at different level on areas of explosive ordnance due to how we know we have pockets of estimated planting of IEDs. So people are not there and they want the site to inform us on time and we tend to carry prompt action. Indicator, I would say that also help is the combined fight against drugs and heavy substance abuse, fight against social violence and other crime. So that has also aided because from points we are in access matching to become which was uprising in the we have addressed that. So there are many other things which we have done that is due to the collaborative effort, intelligence gathering, and also energy with the border security agency. Something very important, which is due to the large number of convictions which we have recorded. So this was it. Good relationship and synergy with the Ministry of Borno State Ministry of Trade, then the Commissioner of Police, one time around the visit to the Attorney General of the state and sat and discussed a pilot meeting to have in all securing the large convictions which we have had. So celebrated the 2025, I would say we did our best at our scorecard, and I believe members of the public are also impressed and appreciated our effort.
All right, thank you for giving us that information. Just this past Thursday, the nation received the tragic news of a in Sabongari, Borno State, where gunmen killed at least 25 construction workers and, as in a separate assault, again raided an army base. A senior police officer described the attack on the workers as having the hallmarks of Boko Haram insurgents who have long resisted developmental projects. Now, what has been the role and response of the Nigeria Police Force to these specific attacks? And secondly, does this signify a shift in insurgent tactics towards soft economic targets? Is the police adjusting to that?
Well, I would say we have always prepared for incidents like this, and particularly, like I earlier mentioned, most of the operations not this region are coordinated by the military. So we are not surprised by the insurgents type of attack because we know which we are doing for the last for the next over of this particular people or the, I would say the underworld. So we are in that tempo, and the particular incident in which you mentioned, I would say it was quite unfortunate, like something that affects all activities in the nation particularly. But in our own sustained efforts, we are trying to see that we don't record this type of incident. Sometimes when we record this particular incident, I will say we are doing the learning culture, but we are mostly highlighted and let members of the public understand that even as we are enjoying the continued and sustained peace, there are some areas that are being or are isolated. We don't encourage members of the public to approach those places, especially those farmers who are going to the bush, some people in the bush isolated areas, and people who go find charcoal and the rest in the bush. So they know the big. It's not only about the confrontation attack, but we are still doing the clearance and the sweeping operations on explosive ordinances and so in our joint efforts together with the military through the operation having great, keep on maintaining and sustaining this particular effort. We don't allow this particular criminals or insurgents to overrun us in our place.
All right, your commissioner of police recently met with area commanders and tactical team leaders, ordering a focus on proactive crime prevention. In the context of Borno, what does proactive policing specifically entails, and is it intelligence-led operations in vulnerable communities or strengthening the
I would say the particular meeting of police, which was strategic, particularly strategic approach is to see that they are taking proactive measures, like you highlighted, to enhance police officers to go back to their line of duty, a policing system which is people-centric, meaning to say we are having the contributions of members in their information that actually intelligence in performing our duty, that we are encouraged to go back to the areas of responsibility and training, particularly on this science and synergy. And one other reason why is we are also looking to repositioning our approach, looking at our cardinals of how we perform our duties. Are we working fine? Are we policing for people? How do we work more better for them and strengthen our operational? We are not in the defensive line of this particular taking the and their doorstep, in which yes, we have recorded successive with in collaboration with the military in so many of these people, these insurgents, and also preventing their activities. if we don't stand foot on our own mandate, they will overrun so many of these communities which were formerly under the hands of the particular. I would say in previous years, Borno State was having only second local government that were functional, and the rest were under the insurgency. But due to these collaborative efforts, we have local government areas where the communities were picked up, we have repeated all, and they have all returned to those places. So the particular meeting that was held is another was a strategic approach, and then we was part of the commissioner for police. Was designed to see that you work more closer and also enhance the operational competencies of the officers and men in the command.
All right, thank you. Abuja, in case you join in, you're listening to the Nigeria Police Radio 99.1 FM Abuja, the station that is always your friend. And the program is Horizon. Horizon is a program where we link up with various police commands across the nation to bring you activities of the Nigeria Police Force. And today on the program, we are privileged to have the spokesperson of the command in person of ASP Dasu Naneth, who is taking us through the activity of the Borno State Police Command. And one thing that you are assured of on this platform is that and the what, but importantly, we also ask the how those activities were carried out. So the question is that you mentioned intelligence-led policing, which led to the record. CP Naziru Abdul Majid, your Commissioner of Police, has stated that intelligence-led policing is the core strategy 2026. Could you give us a concrete recent example of how actionable intelligence directly or indirectly led to a successful operation? Perhaps the recovery of 912 ammunition in Maiduguri last week and some other operations or recoveries.
Thank you very much. Just like I said, parts of our activity, I think particularly we received a distress call by members of the community that a particular staff was found in isolated and ungoverned Maiduguri municipal particular. So this particular received, we took due to our standard operation procedures, we are able to grab the explosive ordnance particular sack. And what was recovered there was about 900,000 vaccinations that we found in. And this is, like you mentioned, intelligence reports that we received by members of the public. A lot of people, and those type of things, just a lot of people may just be less concerned, but because of the heart of the police system itself, that led to their relationship between the police and the community leaders of that community, that led to the police take those actions. Whoever dropped it there, whoever the act that which those particular applications were planned to be used on, you can see that those intelligence was something to be known the testament of how people working relationship of the police and the public are involved. And I would say if that particular arms or application has fell into the that particular person, there are people who create on arms and applications, and it will be used to create more mayhem and cause a lot of damage. So particularly I would say, like I mentioned, that's the testament of the good working relationship in Borno State Police and that's our communities of Maiduguri and Borno State.
All right, thank you, ASP Nahun Daso. Let's go into about the earlier question I asked about the Sabongeri that happened last week, where 25 were said to have been killed by the bandits or gunmen or Boko Haram. What is the status of that particular investigation, and how does your command plan to protect vital infrastructure and workers to prevent such attacks on development projects and also to prevent such coordinated assault or role? I know there are other security agencies who are in the forefront of these activities, but the role of the police is what I'm asking.
Okay, on that particular issue, professional competence. And we don't only allow them to get out there whenever they are going to this type of building and this type of operational ground. We always try to see that we give them those basic training, prepare them to be operationally fit for them to carry out those mandates. And I would say the police, the Borno State Police Command Rapid Response Squad and the cracks units, which have been a firepower and a good army responding to incidents like that, have also helped in reducing and mitigating this type of event. So we are fully prepared for this type of incident. We are doing our best to see that we don't allow it to happen anymore again.
All right, thank you very much, Nahum. So we will be going on a short break, and when we return, the program continues. But before we go, as it is in our tradition, we call out the studio line in case our listener or viewers have a question or comment for our guest. You will do that immediately after we return from the break. The number is 080-699-75761. I'll take that again, 080-699-75761. That is the number you can call through to us in the studio, and you can also send us a WhatsApp message on that number. Stay with me, and the program will continue after this break.
There is that radio station that cares about the people, looks out for the missing here among us. It's not just the professionalism with which we work, it's the heart, the love, the kindness that endears people to us.
And what radio station is that?
Nigeria Police Radio, 99.1 FM, Abuja. Always your friend.
This man, you know that I go show you Pepe.
Madam, it's not that deep.
So, Mr. Smart and Madam Favor were business partners. They had a major disagreement. Favor vowed to deal with Smart. Favor showed up in Smart's office with plenty police.
Hey, officer, here is the criminal.
Madam,
Arrest him.
okay.
But Smart was super cool. Hey, like say,
Arrest who? This is a civil matter involved according to the Nigeria Police Act 20.
You see, actually, we didn't know this was a disagreement. We are sorry.
Who would you write the story? Favor or Smart? And Favor, she was still in shock.
This kind of thing, if it happen,
If no, and follow the Police Act 2020, if it happen.
All right, thank you for staying with us here on the Nigeria Police Radio 99.1 FM Abuja. In case you're just tuning in, you're welcome. You're right on time because we are having a valid and vital conversation with the of Borno State Police Command on the program Horizon, a program that is across Nigeria. And before we went on that break, I called the phone number and react to you've observed from, and perhaps you have a question or comment. Guest is Kenneth Nahundaso. Then you should pick up your phone and call. And you can also utilize the social media handle. We're streaming live on Facebook Radio 99.1 FM, live on Nigeria Police Force official Facebook handle. It's formerly Twitter. We're streaming at Police NG. You can drop a WhatsApp message on the studio line. Again, let me call the number once again, 80-699-75761. This is the number you can call and get to us in the studio. Thank you, SP Dasso, for staying with us.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so into this other story, which says a deeply concerning report from groups like the Forum regarding 15 women abducted in Kilakasa village, Askira Ubalu government in December 2025, who reportedly remain in captivity. Can you update the public on the police's effort to locate and remain? And what are the specific challenges in operations in Borno? Because that area seems to be more like the flashpoint in your state.
I would say the unfortunate incident in this particular victim, I would say in our own efforts, like policemen, most of these operations are joint collaborations with the military. And I would say in that particular regard, last I did a follow-up on it, there have been significant progress among the victims that were adopted have been reunited together with their families. I don't have the particular statistics of how many have been reunited with the families and those that have been left. But I think I visit that particular case and I'll also make an comment. But still, on that unfortunate incident, we said, like I mentioned, if you recall, I said most of these particular incidences that we are having are due to the pockets of attacks that are happening in those bushes that are very deep in the South Grazing area and the forest. So we encourage farmers not to exceed the particular limits of where likely to be the green areas. So sometimes whenever they cross over to the red zone, the field operations, we tend to record some unfortunate incidents that happen. But a good number of those adopted victims have been reunited with their families.
Security sources indicate operations in the challenging terrain of the Dara Mountain. What can you say about that particular area? How challenging is it for your men rescue operations in some of those areas?
The Mandara Mountain has been the threshold where which was highlighted where these particular insurgents mostly carry out their activities, their domicile base, and so many areas in which one was part of their training camps. And so the particular challenge that we have, the particular area Mandara Mountain has islands and the terrain, the proximity, approaching and reaching out to those places, they are not areas that we can use our operational vehicles, our machines, and different operational logistics to be there. So we are also keen on how we carry out in those areas. Several operations that we've carried out in those areas, most of those they have IEDs and specific mines that have been planted there, and we are careful not to not casualties. So we careful on how much we carry out our to say. Mandara Mountain is a Abuja area which we are having the police and force training coverage over there. I would say the Commissioner of Police also increased the police manpower after the return back to training and to police training camp which was there. So on the military side, we are coordinating the operation is that they have been increased deployment of both logistics and human resources in those particular areas.
All right, thank you for that update. You've mentioned that it is not only a police operation. Most of the operations in Maiduguri are being coordinated as a joint operation. And the Commissioner of Police emphasized strengthening collaboration with sister agencies and community stakeholders. So what would you say is the state of interagency collaboration in Borno State as we speak?
We have a very high-level collaboration because prior to the current operations that we have, we've had so many other operations which were here, Operation Lafia, Dole operation, and so. But if you see from the entity so how we've kept it now in Kai, operation having Kai needs working together. Working together and joint.
Hello? Hello? We lost communication with our guest, but let's reconnect with him. Oh my God, what's happening Let's try to see if we can reconnect with our guests at the moment. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for reconnecting. All right, let's continue our conversation. You were saying something about the state of interagency collaboration.
Yes, sir. So, like I said, the operations here is a joint operation, which is the operation having paid. The having paid is an outside word, which signifies a joint operation together. They are having the Borno Security Council, which is the highest pinnacle of where heads of security agencies interface together. And in our operations, I would say it is a model which I will also encourage other states and other communities to adopt, because you have the patrol vehicles which encompasses the police, the military, and other for fire fronters who also contribute in, particularly in addressing those crimes. And the synergy way we work is that whenever we go for our operations rate or team operations, we don't have both the immigrations well, the customs, the police, and so many others. And that has made us be performing our duties, because whenever we arrest anybody who is particularly dealing or peddling in drugs, we have personnel who is advantage to investigate the case. If it's areas of border issues, we have the immigrations who are also there and contributors also help. So the joint effort is that the consistency and the high level meeting and both with the two operations have been to see that we don't only address only just the insolvency, both particularly in the internal sectors of what we are having, so that we can be able to mitigate both urban crimes and international threats such as the acts of terrorism and
All right, one area I want us to also talk about is the tragic suicide bomb attack at a mosque in Goza on Christmas Eve. The community is deeply concerned. Could you perhaps you could clarify if preliminary investigations suggest the isolated incident, or if it points to a resurgent or coordinated threat network in
you're referring to the unfortunate suicide bomb incident that happened at
Gamborungala? Sorry, yeah, Gamborungala markets. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
particularly that in an offensive, devastating incident that happened and attracted both with the international community. We have not recorded such incidents in a very long time, and we have not experienced such type of in Maiduguri city particularly. It was a wake-up call, but we should keep on strengthening our type of operations in which we do. The unfortunate incident led to the loss of 3 persons and also led to the injuries of other victims, which most of them have returned back to their home. So we have taken to our investigation, which later indicated that the particular incident was due to a suicide bomber, which entered among worshippers while they prayed and triggered the whole thing. I would say, that fortunate one is not something like one, and our investigation also we are afraid of nature response collaborated and conspired with the suicide bomber in performing the particular incident. We also made recoveries of pieces of little bio evidence, and which we done forensic analysis, and we are still looking forward to see that they are having so much, they are still pushing also investigation. And we don't want to disclose so many information as the case is still under investigation.
Okay.
But I would say we have made a significant progress in our investigation to record it as a breakthrough.
Thank you very much for that information. To empower citizens as partners in behavioral signs or perhaps red flags should the public be off, and through which official channels should such observations be reported to the police?
Okay. For that, I would say it's the safety of the person to be safe for your own self. And one thing I always encourage members of wherever you are, at any point, whatever you are doing, you should be conscious of yourself. You should have that self-awareness of where you are, what you are doing, your valuables that you have to be, who are close to you, what is it like, and what is there any potential threat close to you. So I think self-awareness is one thing that most people use, they take off themselves, and criminal elements tend to use particularly to. So, and the reporting channel that we have already made strategic advantage, which is closer. The level of our responsibility is very swift because we're less than the out enforcement to help aid people who are in stress or who are under any attack or need police action. And nevertheless, if you contact with people on the public to reach out to us whenever there are issues of security assistance and the enforcement. And also, the number is working now on the top of our emergency contact.
Now, and we'll definitely take it when we wrap up the show.
Sorry, sir.
I say you can take the number. What's the number? Call the number. Call out.
Our emergency number 080 0758. I'll call it again.
All right.
080 075581. Let me call the second number. 8023 3290. I'll call the number again. 0847 3293. And we also have media platforms which are available on Facebook and Instagram, which they could also reach out to us with any particular incidents or eye reports or anything that any members of the public want to reach out to the police on. And ask for no police act. And so when you reach out to us, we are going to carry out the level of response that you need.
All right, thank you very much, PPRO. Before we go, there was this name you mentioned earlier, Crack Squad, and they have been on the news so many times as far as Maiduguri security architecture is concerned. But a recent investigative report detailed the case of a police officer from the Crack Squad who was accused of arresting and extorting 3.6 million naira from a Kaduna-based farmer. How does the command deal with such serious allegations that threaten to undermine public trust, especially in a high-stress environment like Borno?
Well, for the particular case, it got wind of the information, and we've seen members of the public also expressing their concern. The police force as a civil responsive institution, the complaint response unit has invited the particular officer who is to report to carry out the investigation in particular of what had happened. So I'm sure by the national level and we will also update members of the public on what had happened. But I would say that particularly in Borno State records, we don't have those unprofessional officers who conduct those acts, and the Commissioner of Police is not leaning for such type of unprofessional and ethical conduct of police officers. If the particular officer is found guilty of the allegation being placed on him, it will be decided.
All right, we talked about the collaboration with sister security agencies. And this conversation will not be complete if we do not talk about how you rate or the state of affairs between the security agencies in Borno with the civilian GTF. What would you say about the level of cooperation and relationship between officers and also the civilian GTF?
Well, the GTF and other agencies have really been an instrumental in most of the successes which we have recorded. Particularly the civilian GTF are arms of the state governments, which we are having youth in community members who also support security agencies in this fight against this insurgency and also heinous crime in the state. Particularly in our operations, we carry them because they are the members of the community, understand the community, they know the terrain, they bad guys, and they tend to support us with those actionable intelligence to help in reinforcing our mandate. We have recorded so many successes carry out our operations with them, and we will continue to address all security concerns.
All right, with 2 million internally displaced persons with their camps in and host communities as soft target, what is the police specialized strategy for securing the camps, and how do you address the unique vulnerabilities of displaced population to exploitation and crime?
Well, for the protection of these vulnerable persons which are being held in camps, which are provided shelter by humanitarian and government bodies, so many other philanthropies, our mandate is to safety and security for all. We have the borders which are within the. Secondly, amongst these, come on how we move more closer to them, because I believe we know camps inside the camp, because that may increase the level of detention, and so many post-traumatic stress and so many other psychological effects. The entrance, I sure that we do proper screening, and we make sure that these people, whenever come, we always encourage them not to go away from the camp, because most of their livelihood and other activities are within the camp itself. So we have been managing them to see that we don't allow these insurgents or criminal elements to enter or invade incidents or increase in casualty. So how vulnerable they are, and there are people that need special address, then regaining back their life. And we are working closely with non-governmental organizations, the United Nations bodies, and so many other NGOs, government bodies, and other philanthropies which have also helped. So I also want to use this medium to highlight that most of these camps have been closed down, because many of these communities have returned back to their homes, and just of recent stop would I say IDPs which were to neighboring countries, and they've been returned back to their communities, particularly also effort to see that the other local government like Canada and the rest be repatriated back to their communities.
All right, thank you for that information. Also, recently, we've seen posts about running campaigns against thuggery, street fighting. This might be seen, but in a post-conflict settings, Meduguri, why is addressing these social vices a priority for the?
Like I mentioned, somebody that is being proactive, taking its approach. We know we are about to enter the electioneering process. Where we are having campaign, we are having so many electioneering processes. So the fight against this street fighting is what one for members of the public, which have signified that in particular areas we have a significant increase in youth gangsterism, clashes between groups, youth holding weapons, and so many of the likes. So discretion, particularly need to address this particular crime because you need to realize if not, so it is just a proactive measure to address this, and in which we, in his own approach, is to see that we are holding this engagement with this and also encouraging them to shift from those clandestine all those social vices which they involved them to, because the youths are the future and youths are the and most of them, if they are not being controlled, the problems of the society. So they needed a guide, and that's why they are now taking this particular initiative of the Commissioner of Police.
As we conclude, finally, looking at the challenges that we've highlighted, insurgent attacks to maintaining internal discipline, what is your primary message to the people of Borno State, and how can citizens be effective partners in fostering lasting security and stability?
My to the good people of Borno State is to return it, we'll keep on doing it, and we'll keep on supporting ourselves. Whenever they see any response to us, let's continue to work together, getting us tremendously, and we encourage them, please, let's remain united, keep on doing the particular mandates of ensuring that safety and peace for all, and also remind ourselves that security is everybody's business. With the sound warning and also caution areas of misinformation and disinformation probably regulated by criminal elements. Like only say to them before they panic, they should before they post information, they should confirm, and before they know, they should make sure they report to us so that we can action. So a clarion calls them, let's also support ourselves, continue to work together, and it's all contemporary.
Thank you very much, SP Nahunda. So before I let you go, I want you to once again give us channels of your police command.
We have telephone numbers whenever you want to report any case to us. We have our social media platforms. For no, we are available on X, Facebook, Instagram, and our numbers are 6068075581. Again, 080685581. Second, 080473290. Again, 08023473290.
Very much, ASP Daso Nahunke, officer, Borno State Police Command, for this critical, insightful conversation.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. So our listener, thank you for starting this important conversation. Remember, security is our shared responsibility. Horizon, a program which bridges the gap between you and the police by with police commands across the nation, airing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. First hand from the officers tasked with security. Special appreciation to the first public relations officer, Benjamin Hundein, even though now promoted ACP. But yes, so I'm caught in between the devil and the deep blue sea. Should I say ACP Benjamin Hundein, or should I say CSP Benjamin Hundein? But whichever, congratulations, sir, on your well-deserved promotion. And to my producer, Moza Balogun, join us again on Friday, 8 a.m. as we journey to another police command. Until then, stay safe, stay alert, and do have a lovely day ahead. And also remember, always put the frontline office prayers. I am Ali Udo, 19 FM. Goodbye for now.
Our own and your life dey precious. Make we work together with the police hands comot from FCT. FCT police advice say make we dey smart, make we dey alert. On chance dey real o. Make we board taxis only from authorized parks. Avoid to dey take along taxi, avoid tinted taxi and any taxi wey no dey painted with a ladies in particular, make una avoid to dey use una phone when you want to enter taxi. Make you dey alert and dey security conscious. Pay at ten tion to the kind vehicle wey you wan enter and the type of passengers wey dey inside. If anything happen, no keep quiet. Make you rush go the nearest police station to report or make una sharply call command emergency number 08032003910573376. My country people, make we dey smart, make we dey alert. Help the police. This message, the Police Command, Public Relations Office.
You asked for it, and now you have it.